Welcome, Matata friends, and welcome to That Game Rules podcast, a retro gaming show where every week we sit around eating bugs, talking video games, and deep dive into random memories from our childhoods. I'm your host, Scuba. Thank you for listening again, and today we're heading to the jungle to talk about a game we love to hate, The Lion King, one of my favorite Disney movies turned into one of my most dreaded video games. This game, it's like that beautiful African sunrise, looks good from afar, but if you walk up and touch it, you'll probably die. Those NES tough games, they get a pass, being essentially like the first of their kind. So what happened here to make our first real SNES tough game? Well, here at the podcast, we always look for the positive. We celebrate all games, good and bad, and we'll attempt that once again today as we flip this log of a game over, try to find the juicy bugs underneath. But before we head to Pride Rock and check on our boy Simba, let's break down this show. We're going to start with a little time warp back to 1994, talking memories. Then we're going to go over the vitals, the characters, levels, box art, the music. We're going to check out some comments and reviews, a whole bunch of other nonsense. Finally, we'll give this game some awards, rank it among the greats, and see if we can finally give Simba that king of the mountain status. From a movie that made me cry in the theaters to a video game that made me cry in my living room. Email the show at thatgamerules@gmail.com. I want to hear all your thoughts on The Lion King, all your memories from all these old Disney games. We got a lot of Disney episodes in the vault, in the back catalog there. We got DuckTales, Aladdin, Quackshot, Chip and Dale, tons of stuff for you guys to sink your claws into. Check out thatgamerules.com, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I'm suffering through a week of Lion King just for you guys. So if you want to be a good hyena, throw me a bone, leave a nice comment, throw out a like or a follow. Go do it. Just hit pause. Go do it now. I'll wait right here. Thanks, guys. So what's new around here at the dungeon? I'm always trying to level up this podcast. It's like I have tons of ideas. I just don't have any time. I want to figure out live streaming for sure, as far as for my gameplay videos. And I've had some requests for like full playthrough videos of some of these games, and I would love to do that too. Maybe down the road. It's like all the reels and clips I post now, if you're on any of my socials. It's just like random gameplay clips of me playing the game that I just mix in with like a podcast snippet, so they don't always like technically line up with the action. I'm not actually playing the games as I'm recording this podcast. Props to anyone who can pull that kind of stuff off. But I'm just hoping to keep growing. I appreciate anyone sticking with me on this journey as we approach our 1 year anniversary coming up here. Unless Lion King forces me to just go scar myself off of a cliff. Let's get into some gaming memories of my gaming memories of Lion King. Then we'll warp right out of this intro. And I gotta say, I know I'm like most of you. If I told you I didn't rent this thing a bunch as a kid, I'd be lying. You get it? You see, it's like a lion joke there. I'll see myself out. I'm back. Really though, this just like NES TMNT, just like Bart versus the Space Mutants, this game just kicked my ass as a kid. I didn't make it far at all. Lots of that level 1 experience on some of these old games. But fortunately for me, I've never been like a super angry person. And I also had a pretty big imagination. So I would just play these games pretending I'm in an episode or just pretending I'm in the movie. Then I'd get bored and I'd throw in Mario 3. So when it comes to Lion King, it's like I know I made it to level 3, the Boneyard, the Elephant Graveyard, but that difficulty spike on level 2, all these levels, they're like so small, and it's like, how are they so freaking hard? Because apparently Simba dies just from brushing up against a bird nest. It's like the monkeys are fine in that level. It's the hippos that can go to hell. And the anger is coming already. So let's cool off. Let's head back to 1994, and let's get into this week's Time Warp.
Have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Welcome back. 1994. We're talking The Lion King. We're talking lions, Simba. We're talking the jungle. We're talking the environment. That's what we did in the 90s. And today's fake sponsor is another one that a real company out there that can maybe help us help the planet out a little bit.
Trees, trees, calling Arbor Day Foundation spreads the word across the nation about trees. Trees are terrific.
A small fake sponsor today, the Arbor Day Foundation. I don't know anything about it besides the fact that jingle from that commercial has been in my head for years and years. But it's a real thing. The Arbor Day Foundation, largest nonprofit dedicated to planting trees and helping forests. They're known for sending you trees to plant yourself when you sign up or support them. And just again, if you don't know, all these sponsors are fake. I don't make any money from any of these guys. Free shout out to Arbor Day because planting trees is good. But sometimes I wonder, people hate, ads on podcasts, and I'm just purposely putting in fake ads. But I enjoy them. You guys just got to come along for the ride. Let's get into some video game stuff here. Back in 1994, we had some celebrities getting even more famous this year, maybe doing some naughty things. But we had some celebrities playing like real life video games. You can bear with me for this. O.J. Simpson, that's right, the juice is loose. After his solid career in Tecmo Bowl, he could have just lived nice on his Scrooge McDuck pile of money, but instead he decides to play a very naughty game of Maniac Mansion. Next thing you know, he's going full Rad Racer down the freeway. Although, from my view, watching that chase live at home, that little white Bronco looked more like a really slow version of RC Pro-Am. And of course, who could forget the famous line from the trial, "If the power glove does not fit, you must acquit." It only gets worse, people. Also that year, coming hot off her Blades of Steel career is Nancy Kerrigan. That is, until Tanya Harding goes full Streets of Rage, takes Nancy out of the game. Finally that year, Jeff Bezos must have been playing some Wall Street Kid. That's a real NES game. Because he founded Amazon that year, he's now on his way to making that Scrooge McDuck pile of money. And hopefully you, Jeff, you're donating to the Arbor Day Foundation. You did name your company after the Amazon. I hope you're doing good stuff out there. But enough tree talk. Let's go see what was happening in the movie theaters back in 1994.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
So that year, we got the Santa Claus coming out. You got JTT rocking that Simba voice. And his TV dad, he's off playing Santa Claus. Some Home Improvement references for you there. And then we got the double header of the Rich Kid movies with Richie Rich and Blank Check. And I always forget that Macaulay Culkin was Richie Rich. That dude, he had the McDonald's in his house in that movie. And Blank Check, if I recall, it doesn't seem accurate. The kid had $1 million and it looks like he spent way more than that. I think he's got the roller coaster in his backyard and all that stuff. Macaulay Culkin, he was having a year though, because he also released Page Master that year, which is also a Super Nintendo game. That's mixing that live action and that animation. But of course, we're doing the Lion King game. We got to talk about the Lion King movie. Really is one of my favorites. 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb. It's a lot of everybody's favorites. It's probably got one of the best cinematic openings of all time, like animated or not. That African sunrise, that music kicking in, the animation looks great. They're even doing 3D type of things with the animation there, with blurring and the ants walking across the stick and then the wildebeest below. You all know what I'm talking about. Starring in that movie, James Earl Jones, of course, Darth Vader, JTT, Jonathan Taylor Thomas as young Simba. Then you got Matthew Broderick, Ferris Bueller himself as adult Simba. We got Mr. Bean in this movie, Rowan Atkinson, Jeremy Irons, Whoopi Goldberg, Nathan Lane, and Cheech Marin, of course. But shout out to the voice actors, Jim Cummings and Frank Welker. Famous voice actors doing tons of we're talking Ninja Turtles, tons of stuff. I'm going to shout out Frank Welker some more in a minute here. But shout out to Elton John right now for that song, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And shout out to the animators during that scene for drawing the most DTF face I've ever seen on an animated character. I'm looking at you, Nala. And maybe I'm the weirdo. You guys know what I'm talking about? They're wrestling on the ground. Simban's up on top. Nala's on the bottom. She gives him that look that is like they're making babies tonight, I think. But also, let's get it out of the way. Based on how prides work in lion society, the Nala is probably Simba's sister. But hey, the Targaryens, they did it for centuries, so maybe it's not too. I don't know anymore. Lion King, also the best-selling home video of all time, with more than 55 million copies sold to date. Also, that Wildebeest Stampede, that animation I like too. That took Disney's CG department approximately 3 years to animate. A new computer program had to be written just for the CG, the Stampede itself, that allowed those hundreds of CG animals to run into each other without colliding into each other. So this isn't any of that AI bullcrap. This is real people putting in the work. Here's my favorite piece of trivia about this movie that I just learned, and I'm a nut for movie trivia, but I just learned this week. Frank Welker, who always impresses me with his voices, he provided all of the lion roars in the movie. Not a single recording of an actual lion roaring was used because the producers wanted specific sounding roars for each lion. I would have bet a lot of money that wasn't the case, because all those lion roars sound pretty dang good to me. But Frank Welker, like I was saying, he's Transformers. He's everywhere in Mickey Mouse, Teen Titans, all over Nickelodeon. Shout out to him being the voice of Nibbler on Futurama. I think he's most famous for like Transformers. But again, these people, they're parts of your childhoods. You wouldn't recognize them walking past them in the street, but trust me, they mean more to you than you guys know. Our last little trivia here. I don't know if I've gotten into these in the Disney movies and the podcast, but in this case, at around 52 minutes in The Lion King, there have been rumors that when Simba collapses off the cliff about the stars, it's got the starry landscape out there, the dust flies off the cliff and forms the word sex. So that was a rumor pre-internet back then. Us kids started to learn these things. These are the playground rumors, the kind of things I love talking about in this podcast. The telephone game, the way things would just go through society before there was things like the internet to web all this stuff together. So they've gone back on this one in particular and tried to say that the animators were spelling the word SFX for like special effects, the abbreviation for special effects. But, I mean, animators, they're funny, silly adults just like us too. They might be trying to sneak some jokes in there. I don't know why they would put SFX in. Honestly, I would say it's probably sex and someone being goofy, because there's tons of other Disney cases. The most famous probably is that phallic shaft on the cover of The Little Mermaid that they went and took off, and when they started re-releasing those. But there's also those rumors in The Little Mermaid themselves about the priest being aroused during the wedding at the end based on the animation. There's also the spot in the Aladdin movie where it's a sound thing. It's right when I think he's getting off the carpet with whatever the giant tiger thing's name is. But there's supposed to be where he's saying down tiger or something, that he's actually, if you listen, it says, quote, good teenagers take off their clothes. And that one is pretty obscure, but I remember me and my buddy Matt sitting there after we heard that, rewinding it, listening to that over and over. But that's a weird one, because then it's just a weird sentence in general. And whatever you think of subliminal messaging, that was the big parent scare back then. But of course, back then, everything was all Satan and crap anyway when it came to those 80s and 90s parents. And of course, all kind of based on the fact The Rescuers Down Under does have straight up boobs in it. That's like a non-denied animator straight up took a couple of seconds, maybe even frames worth of a topless lady and put it in the window of a building as they're flying through. So anyway, people are weird. They're always going to do weird stuff like that. Let's get into some TV shows. We're going to get kind of real old school with the TV shows today. And I'm talking about Nick at Night. And nowadays, Nick at Night makes me feel really old, because they're showing shows like Fresh Prince and Roseanne and these kind of things. That's okay, because I like to watch those. Not like I have Nick at Night. I don't have cable. I'm not 60 years old yet. But just like we were forced to endure The Lion King if we rented it for the weekend, the game, we are forced to endure the TV shows of our parents because we didn't have a choice when you had that one TV. A lot of times you're watching what your parents are watching. And in the early 90s and the 80s, there just weren't kids shows or cartoons on at night. So you were stuck with, hell, half the networks played the national anthem and then just went off air for 8 hours or whatever. And if you didn't get that, you're forced to watch whatever was on at night. You could watch Night Court, maybe Love Connection. I feel like I spent a lot of time watching Nat Geo because, yeah, I was so starved for TV that I was willing to learn things, watching nature shows and stuff. So allow me to get real old school with you for a minute on some of these Nick at Night shows. I mean, like really old school, the one you had to walk uphill both ways to get to. And these are all shows that I know now, but there's nothing I was turning on purpose. They were just kind of on. But starting out with one of my favorite theme songs even for these old shows. That's right, Green Acres. I got two things to say about that. Number one, that song makes me sad because it reminds me of like my grandparents and being at my grandparents' house and watching those old shows. If you're a younger person and your grandparents are still around, get a relationship with them. Talk to them now before they're gone. While you think you don't care now, like go pick their brains, learn about their childhoods. Anyway, the other thing about that Green Acres theme song is all I can think of is the Eazy-E song when I hear that. And I won't play a clip of that because that's a very naughty song. But if you know what I'm talking about, that Eazy-E tune. But some of the other shows, we're talking Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, I Love Lucy, Mary Tyler Moore, Dick Van Dyke, Bewitched. We're going to send the animals some love because we had Lassie, we had Mr. Ed the Talking Horse, or you could go for a swim with Flipper the Dolphin. If you remember that dumb show. We also had MASH, Gilligan's Island, on and on and on. And for better or worse, like at least my knowledge of all these old shows, they allow me to get a lot of obscure Simpsons jokes from those early seasons, or just a lot of obscure references in general. You got to know some of these old shows. But let's hop on Flipper. Let's swim out of here. We'll check out a few games competing for our attention against Lion King, and then we'll move into the game itself. Who would win in a fight between Flipper and Echo? I think Echo. He's taking on sharks and all sorts of stuff. He's got the sonar power. But video games in 1994, not Echo, I don't think. We had PlayStation and Saturn making their debuts, but we're going to keep it cardy. We're going to talk about our cartridges because we got the Lion King. Take your choice of the SNES or the Genesis, but should you choose to rent this game, it means you walked past all of these games in that Blockbuster aisle. Donkey Kong Country, Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat 2, Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles, Super Metroid, even that big old Earthbound box, you're just walking right past it. Then, finally, the decision between Aladdin and Lion King. Aladdin's got that sword, but Kitty's got claws here. But we picked Lion King, so let's check out that box art.
Now, I know you love video games, and I asked the clerk which is the one every boy wants.
You got me! Oh, yeah!
All right, let's get into these game vitals here. We got The Lion King in our hands, a 1994 platform game based on Disney's animated film of the same name. It was originally developed by Westwood Studios, published by Virgin Interactive for the Super NES and the Sega Genesis, but was also ported to MS-DOS, Amiga, Game Gear, Master System, and the Nintendo Entertainment System. That's right, across the pond over there, you guys got yourself a bona fide official D-Make. The NES Lion King was only released on the PAL versions of the NES over in Europe. It was evidently pretty crappy. But also there was a fan-made 8-bit D-make that would come along, show the developers how they should have made it. Also, fun fact here, The Lion King on the Nintendo Entertainment System was the last game to be released for the Nintendo over there in Europe. The game itself follows Simba's journey from a young cub to the battle with his Uncle Scar as an adult. And talking about that box art, let's stroll down the aisle, check it out, and it's okay. It's featuring adult Simba, Scar, and the 3 hyenas back there, looking like they're pulling from like the climax of the film and game. But the whole thing is like super toned orange, kind of muddy, kind of just blends together.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
But granted, a hype game like this wouldn't need fancy box art. I think in this case, it's just a bit dramatic with the climax there, just the lions roaring at each other. Like, bring in Timon and Pumbaa. Like, throw some green jungle in the mix. There's definitely better Lion King cover art down the road on some Game Boy games. There's PlayStation games. But this box art didn't matter. You all rented this game too. A lot of people want to send the hate at the developers for making such a stupidly hard game, but was that really their intent? Let's talk about the history of some of these Disney video games. By now, Disney, you've got some expectations with their games. We're hitting a new era of Disney content as those Disney Afternoon classic cartoons started to be replaced with some fresh ideas or stolen ideas from Disney. Yeah, that too. By now, we've burned through games like Mickey Mousecapade, DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Chip and Dale. We even moved into the 16-bit already with hits like Aladdin, and a new game like Lion King coming out at the same time as the movie should make this an easy win to become king of the gaming jungle that year. Unlike Aladdin, The Lion King for both Sega and SNES were developed by the same company, Virgin, so between some minor differences, mainly due to like the hardware, you get essentially the same game. We'll go over some of those differences later. Also, unlike past Disney games, this is the first game to be released alongside with the movie. Usually the game would come out, a year or two after the movie's been in theaters, so it made the promotion for the game a big deal coming out right next to Lion King. They also had to develop the game elements alongside, artists drawing the actual movie scenes, so they're all working together. You can tell in this game, as far as the Disney animators drawing it, it looks great. No one's out there telling you that The Lion King doesn't look amazing. But getting into the development here, like a lot of Disney games, the sprites and backgrounds were all hand-drawn by Disney animators over at Walt Disney Feature Animation. I think that's down in Florida, maybe. Game designer Louis Castle revealed that 2 levels, Hakuna Matata and Be Prepared, were adapted from scenes that were cut from the final movie. Granted, this game doesn't have a lot of story. I mean, it follows the movie, but they don't really... I'll get into that. There's no kind of level to level. It's just next level, next level. There's no real... They could have did a little more cinematic in between. But playing this game, you get 2 brand new kind of scenes. I wish I knew what the scenes were in the movie, because that monkey boss in Hakuna Matata... If you play in the game, you're like, who is this guy? I mean, apparently it was cut from the movie, but the monkey gorilla guy looks good. We'll get to him later. The game's development started in January of 94 and finished in July. Just a 6-7 month little span there. Westwood Studios developed the game for SNES and Genesis. Other conversions were outsourced to different studios. You had East Point Software porting it to MS-DOS, adding enhanced sound effects and music. The Sega Master System and Game Gear versions were developed by Cyrox, and the NES and Game Boy versions were developed by Dark Technologies. And like I said earlier, that 1995 NES version, that was the console's last official release in all the regions over there. And then the game itself had a marketing budget of $8 million from a total of $20 million.
Shut up and take my money.
So it doesn't seem they get $20 million, so they get $12 million for the game and $8 million for marketing on what I wouldn't think they would need to market it that much. But there were darker times for the kingdom in store here, because Simba has to face his greatest challenge yet, Disney executives. In 2014, game director Lewis Castle, it's either Lewis or Louis, I'm going to go with Lewis, revealed that the reason why the game was made difficult, especially in level 2, was due to pressure from Disney so that people would not be able to complete it during the rental period at Blockbusters. He has since apologized for doing this.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
The sad thing, watching the developer interviews, including Lewis, can kind of make you sad. I watched tons of interviews with these guys, and the team really thought they were just putting out this great game for kids to enjoy. They're describing all the work, talking about how excited kids would be when they finally got to change to that adult Simba. And the only adult Simba I ever saw as a child was on the back of the box, or maybe in Nintendo Power. And so it was that near the end of development, the monkey puzzle in the second level, Can't Wait to Be King, was expanded and made more difficult to meet Disney's playtime criteria to fight game rentals. At the time, time constraints made it impossible to add more levels. They could have just did that. And I looked up everything I could. I mean, this is the biggest flack this game gets, is that the developers made it harder so that kids could not finish it in one weekend rental, and they'd have to keep renting it over and over again. That was the concept. They found out how popular game rentals are, and that if kids could beat them, maybe they wouldn't rent them again. But that sounds like Disney executive crap, because it's like if a game is good and you beat it, you're going to want to rent it and play it again because it's a good game. So I don't want to give the developers flack on this. It really came down to the Disney executives. The weird thing being, all I can find is that they added like the pink monkeys and stuff in level 2. That doesn't make up for a lot of the other crazy difficulties. So I don't know if it's where they added the falling rocks here, or they added the lava drips and Be Prepared and all these kind of things. I wish I could find exactly what they changed, but all I can find is the monkeys, and that's not even the hardest part of level 2. It's the ostrich jumps, it's the hippo and the rhino jumps, but we'll get there. Let's talk about the release. Game of Thrones, Lion style, lots of reviews. It's always interesting to see these reviews at the time when you're reviewing a new game in 1994 versus us having 20 plus years to talk about it. But let's get into it. GamePro, that wonderful old magazine, they reviewed the SNES version, commenting on the outstanding graphics and voices, but, quote, repetitive, tedious gameplay that's too daunting for beginning players and too annoying for experienced ones. They particularly noted the imprecise controls and highly uneven difficulty, though they said the movie quality graphics, animations, and sounds were good enough to make the game worth playing regardless of the gameplay. So play it to look at it, but know that it's going to be tough. I get their reviews pretty legit. The 4 reviewers of EGM, they praised the Game Gear version as having graphics equal to and controls vastly improved over both the SNES and Genesis versions. GamePro wrote that the graphics, they're not as good, of course, as Super Nintendo or Genesis, but agreed that they're exceptional by Game Gear standards and praised its much more gradual difficulty slope than the earlier versions, sending some love to that little black brick. I know I had Lion King on Game Gear. I know I had Aladdin on the Game Gear. I'm still trying to forget about Sonic 2 on the Game Gear. But I remember Aladdin specifically blowing my little mind on the Game Gear. That one hits the nostalgia hard for me. I like the tiny little sprites on that Aladdin game. I did not get a round in on the Game Gear this week of Lion King. I was busy smashing my head against the wall playing the SNES version. But how about that the best version of Lion King to play out there might be on the Game Gear. The one version they didn't include on the new collection they sold recently. Next Generation, they rated the SNES version 4 out of 5 stars and stated that, quote, even though the game is much harder than Aladdin, it's never unfair or frustrating, end quote. And I call BS on that. What the hell are you talking about? I don't know, Next Generation magazine. Maybe this is why, for crap reviews like this. But with a review like that, I'm not sure you even played past the first level. I say you're lying. That's another lion joke there. Did you see what I did? Entertainment Weekly, they gave the SNES version an A and the Genesis version a B+, and wrote that controlling Simba when he's a playful bundle of fur is one thing, putting him through his paces as a full-maned adult is quite another. When the grown-up Simba gives a blood-curdling roar and mauls snarling hyenas, the interaction is so well observed that it's like watching a PBS nature documentary. The sense of power it gives you is exhilarating, and by the time Simba takes his climactic heavyweight stand against his evil Uncle Scar, this Lion King has turned into a Wild Kingdom variant of Street Fighter 2. Are you serious? Are you comparing the Lion King right now to Street Fighter 2?
Well, excuse me, princess.
It's like, how the hell did all these people even make it to adult Simba? I guess maybe if I was an adult in the 90s, then I could put the time in. I can make it through this game now. I don't want to say it's a good game now. I won't say it's a good game. We'll wait till the end of the episode. Let's talk about the music. We're bringing the Disney vibes. The music was adapted from songs and orchestrations in the film soundtrack, and we've got to expect those great tunes out of these Disney games. And in this case, they're great. And in a rare case for me anyway, I actually enjoy the SNES music over the Sega. It's like, how did Nintendo manage to get those voice sound effects and then leave Sega in the dust? I always considered Sega to have better sounds. This is all, I don't know the tech specs specifically. Just in my head, Sega had better sounds, not better songs, better sounds. You know, because I like all those Mega Mans. I like my Donkey Kong Countries. But take a peek. We're going to listen to both tracks from Sega, from the Super Nintendo. It's going to be that intro music that nobody knows the words to. But take a listen to Sega's here. So, not bad. You know, it's Circle of Life. We can understand what it is. But listen to this SNES version of Circle of Life. Yeah, I think those words, you know, the voices at the beginning make a lot of difference with this song. It's what we all remember on that big dramatic opening. So shout out to the Super Nintendo on this one. I also really love how they named most of the levels in the game itself. They're all named after the music tracks from the movie. So now a track you can jam out on for the rest of your days, and we're going to get into the game chat. Let's get into the game chat. That song put me in a better mood already. Let's talk about the characters. Most all of the characters from the movie make an appearance with a few notable absences. Looking at you, Zazu. Is that the bird's name? He's not in here. I miss him. Of course, this story, all about Simba and his journey. We get to smack around some hyenas. Shenzi, is that it? Shenzi, Bonsai, and Ed. You get to get chirped by your old friend Rafiki, and you get to play some mini games with our pals. But the manual, it's better to be prepared. Am I right? If this podcast was called That Instruction Booklet Rules, then The Lion King would get a fail. This is the worst looking manual I've come across yet. I think I'm more offended at the manual than I am with the annoying gameplay elements. It's just boring. It's got like 8-point tiny lines of the most basic font. It's just ugly, barely any pictures, just no humor or charm. And I make it a point to go back and explore the manuals on this podcast, and I find your lack of fun with this manual disturbing. I was hoping for like a Timon and Pumbaa to guide us through, kind of talking our way through the game, but alas, we're stuck with reading what amounts to stereo instructions. But it does have the controls. I mean, it's got everything you need in there to read, but it's like you're studying for a book or like a history exam. But let's get into the controls, for better or worse. And the controls aren't bad on paper. They're pretty basic with some big differences between young Simba and adult Simba. In the first half of the game, players control Simba as a cub who mainly defeats enemies by jumping on them. In the second half of the game, Simba becomes an adult. He's gone through puberty. He gains access to various combat moves such as scratching, mauling, and throwing your opponent right over top of you like WWE. And it's like, as far as both young and adult Simba, I like the roar mechanic.
Do the roar.
I also like how only young Simba can roll, only adult Simba can maul. The sprites themselves, they control fine. And the developers spoke highly about how they were trying to emulate, actual kind of cats. They were doing that a lot on the movie anyway. They brought in a lion and a cub for the animators to directly draw from. So when the developers were making this game, they didn't want a Mario that could stop on a dime and turn. They wanted it to act kind of more fluid, more like an animal. The sprites themselves, like I said, they control fine. It's the hitboxes of the enemies that can be insane. It's the pixel perfect jumps you have to make to land on the edges of things. It becomes more about you versus the environment, but not like in the way they intended. It's more like you just versus a bad game. Because of the bad mechanics, when you finally make a jump you've been trying to, it doesn't even feel rewarding. It's almost more frustrating. You finally make that jump and you just feel even more anger because it's the exact same thing you just did, but you died 6 times doing it, and randomly the 7th time works. It's just how this game kind of feels. I will go over how to actually play and beat this game. It doesn't involve the cheats or glitches available. There are cheats, there are glitches the speedrunners are using, but you basically just have to unlearn everything you know about video games and platforming, and you just have to learn specifically how to play The Lion King. So we'll get into that. Let's start with the story. Your classic Disney abandonment tale. Do you not know the story of The Lion King? I'm pretty sure you do. Spoiler alert. I won't even get into Mufasa. Go watch the movie. But this thing is a classic. Did Disney steal the idea from the anime Kimba the White Lion? Yeah, probably. But the game follows the story pretty accurately, but only if you've seen the movie. They have very small cutscenes. Not even that, just kind of like a 30-second animation at the end of the level. There's no text to move the story along, and the cutscenes look great for what they are. They feature the real voices from the movie, but like I said, even the Aladdin games gave you a little more to work with. Give me a sentence. Simba's grown up now, and he's going to chase down Rafiki, but it's just you're in this level, and you're just doing things, whatever. The gameplay, let's get into it. We're going to get into the gameplay the same way this game starts, just right to the action. So there is an option for easy, normal, and hard. I stuck with normal for the latest love torture session here. The only difference I can find in the modes is the amount of lives and continues you start with. Although playing at easy mode does start you out with 9 lives. You get it right. It's a cat joke. Anyways, let's pounce on these levels. Talking level 1, the Pride Lands. Curious young Simba, he gets a jump on exploring the craggy ledges of his home. Porcupines and tongue-snapping monitor lizards have staked out their territory too. Swing on the tree roots, sticking out from the rocks to somersault higher. So you've got some, it's a nice basic, I guess, your tutorial level here. You got the chameleons, porcupines, those rhinoceros beetles to kill or avoid. The bugs themselves, you're collecting bugs we'll talk about. Those beetles, I like those ones. You jump on them and they explode. So there's a lot of unique, fun things in this first level already. The first boss of the game you'll encounter is a hyena, so it's familiar. It's a great level. I wish that roar mechanic came more into play. Like, I like how you have to roar at a porcupine to flip it over, and then you can pounce on it. But you're hopping on cliffs, you're finding bugs. It's pretty good platforming if you're just pretending to be a little lion cub. And if the whole game played like this, it would be a lot more enjoyable. But let's go over the items and let's eat some bugs. You can collect various types of bugs. Some bugs restore Simba's health. Other rare bugs, they can increase your actual health bar. They can increase the roar meters for the remainder of the game. The black spiders you got to watch out for. And later, what are the jumping spiders? But there's also like black widows hanging. You got to watch out for those. Those will damage Simba as well.
Hear the roar.
By finding certain bugs hidden in specific levels, the players enter the bonus stages. As Timon and Pumbaa, you get to earn extra lives and continues if you can make it through those in more than 3 seconds. Also, a few scattered one-ups, a few extra continues, but this first level and those roar health upgrades, I mean, that's where it's at.
Hear the roar.
So there is a method. I'll tell you real quick, my method, and I wouldn't consider it cheating. You're giving yourself a leg up. But in the first level, there is a health expansion. There is a roar expansion as far as making your meters bigger at the top. I think you can do that in the game a total of 4 or 5 times. So in the first level, you've got one of each of those. You've also got a free continue. So what you do is hop up. They're both in the top left. Get your 2 upgrades. Go get your continue. That's in the middle of the level. Yeah, I can't really explain it, but if you're determined to beat the Lion King, you're watching some videos, you'll find this stuff out. But mainly, get your 2 upgrades. Go get your free continue, and then kill yourself, and then continue the game, and everything respawns. But you've still got your upgrade from last time. So now go get 2 more upgrades, go get your continue, kill yourself again. So you can rinse and repeat that. And now you're starting out the game, full max health, full max roar meter. Now you're ready to tear it up. The real issue now comes into play, and that's that 90% of the game is an instant death. So even though you've got your roar meters never coming, I don't feel like I'm ever caring about my roar meter, but your health meter, there's a few spots in the game you're going to want that health for the monkey boss. The levels with the pebbles falling we'll go over and stuff, but the main thing being there's so much instant death. The ostriches, you fall in water, there's rolling boulders, there's lava of course, but you bump into a stalactite, bump into a bird nest, you're going to die. More of those things await you. I get real used to that death animation. But we're going to move on to level 2. It's just so pretty and so abusive. It's like the Dom of the Lion King levels, if you will. Level 2, can't wait to be king. Based on the I Just Can't Wait to Be King musical number, features no actual enemies to avoid. Can you believe that? Simba, there's the level I die the most on, and there's not even any enemies. Simba can use the rhino's tail as the rope or jump on its head. If he stands on that giraffe too long, its head will move and let him fall. And when he rides on that ostrich, he must jump over the hippos or rhinos in the Super Nintendo version, and you have to duck the bird's nest. I think I read somewhere that hippos are like the deadliest mammal on the planet, and after playing this level, I believe it. That it's got the monkeys throwing you in different places. And again, that cool kind of puzzle mechanic there with the pink monkeys and the roaring. I wish they did more of that, more puzzle solving that didn't throw you to an instant death right after you did it. But again, with the monkeys, it's like you first come into this level, coming off of that decent first level, it's like you're feeling it, especially on this one. The music is jamming, the colors and background are popping, and you're ready to just swing your little heart out. Only you're not sure where to jump. You think you should jump on that tail, but now you're flying backwards. Why are these bird nests killing me when I'm trying to jump on the ostrich? The main thing being one of the hardest parts of this game. I'll try to explain it as best I can.
Hey, listen!
It's the hit boxes and I guess the jump boxes. When you're going for a cliff or a tail, as far as jumping or a ledge, you have to, like I said, you have to unlearn things. You can't be aiming for where you think you're going to go, like the center of a ledge or a tail. You have to learn. It's literally a foot in front of like whatever you're trying to grab is essentially where you need to aim. And then Simba's sprite magically does this like grabbing onto the ledge thing. So don't think it's completely broken. Stop trying to jump in the center of those hippo butts to land on that tail. Figure it out. It's going to be, you're almost just jumping on the edge of that sprite to hit that. Also goes the same with some of the enemies and their hitboxes later. The cheetahs, you can just sit there and spam your button. They don't even... So there's a lot of... It's not even cheating. It's just bad development, learning where to stand, learning where to jump, and a lot of this stuff that will get you through this game. The Sega version and the SNES version, they differ here as well. You can't even make certain jumps. We're still on level 2. On those hippo ears, the monkey swapping, it's cool too. But like I said, they could have utilized that in later levels. If it wasn't just so punishing. It's like I give praise to all the different themes of the levels. Every level feels really different. But in this case, you can tell that there were errors in development because you're supposed to be able in this level to jump on this like hippo ear and kind of avoid this harder part, which you can do in the Sega Genesis version for some reason in the Super Nintendo. I don't know if it has to do with screen crunch or expanding screens, those kind of things. You can't make this jump, and it's pretty annoying. But if you make it through level 2, which I'm sure I did as a little kid, we'll move on to level 3, the elephant graveyard. We got dark, forbidding caves are loaded with the bones of long-gone elephants. Simba uses them as a jungle gym. Hyenas and vultures dart from eye sockets and other hiding places. Watch out or they'll turn Simba into a royal feast. This is no place for a prince. The issue here, and with most levels in the game, is that everything looks so good. You got new enemies, you got your vulture, they got the classic, fly and swoop type of action, and a lot of hyenas here. But again, with the level, you can't really tell like what's a ledge, what am I supposed to jump on, or what can you grab and swing onto. And that's besides the fact this level has parts of it where pieces are falling. You jump on a bone and you got to keep moving before that falls. So that's the issue. It looks so good. It's why games nowadays that look real good, they put the yellow paint everywhere to kind of tell you what ledges you can grab onto. I probably could have used something like that in this game. This level itself, it's like not too bad for experienced gamers, but this one could be the end of your Blockbuster rental playthrough when you slide that baby back through the slot Sunday night. But moving on to level 4, another brand new looking level, the Stampede. Wicked Scar lures Simba to a ravine. We all know this scene. He starts a wildebeest stampede. Simba must outrun the wild herd while searching for cover from the sharp hooves and horns. How quick are you at precision jumping? And it's a pretty cool level as far as the way they design it. Simba's running at the screen. All the wildebeests are running at the screen. It feels very dramatic. But it's got kind of a cheat. Pro tip here, there's just a good certain spot to stand. You can kind of go to this one area. And again, you'd have to look this stuff up. But you can essentially just stand there. You can almost set your controller down and just let the level play out. There's just a good spot to stand. All the beasts kind of avoid you. I think you can jump over one or two rocks if you need to. But also if you have that health upgrade, I think you're going to be good to go. So cool level, never made it as a kid. All these levels now, we're getting into stuff I've never played as a kid. So you're getting my full adult opinions on these things. But let's move in to level 5, Simba's Exile. And things are getting annoying. The enemies are still the same, but now we got various hazards to avoid. Simba is told to leave Pride Rock and never return. Sadly, he picks his way down the treacherous side of the gorge where more porcupines and monitor lizards lurk. Watch out for the avalanche of rocks the mean hyenas are hurling from above. And the whole time, the hyenas are throwing rocks, so it's just randomly raining pebbles like the whole level. And this is, again, the level where that maxed out health is really going to help you. But not with those boulders that'll take you out in one hit. The real trick here, there's a little rolling shortcut path. They even show you in Nintendo Power in their walkthrough. And then just full send your way through the level. There's no way to avoid the pebbles. There's no rhyme or reason to them, so you're better. There's health. Constantly there's those bug health upgrades too, so you can, run past some enemies, do a little speed running and just make it to that health upgrade. None of the levels have timers or anything. You can see we've only got kind of our one hyena boss at the beginning, so not every level has any sort of boss at the end or anything either. But again, those pebbles, this is another one of those levels that it's just annoying because a pebble will knock you off of a cliff you're hanging on to, just all those kind of things. But we're going to move on to one of those new levels we were talking about, level 6, Hakuna Matata. It takes place in the waterfalls, and it's just got that beautiful song playing in the background. The lush jungle playground. We got huge trees, soft, wet piles of leaves, water slides with a river running through it. Eating bugs is the secret to life. Snakes, spiders, and diving hippos make Simba hop to it to keep his foot long on the slippery rocks. And this level, there's a couple of tough things. It's a nice looking level. It's got the frogs and spiders in this level. The spiders are really annoying, but then we got the falling logs platforming coming up here, and then we've got the giant gorilla boss as well. And it's a nice looking level. It's got a pimp ass song for you to just get slaughtered to. First, those spiders, they're annoying as hell. And then you've got some insane log jumping platforming. It can take 5-10 minutes on that part. That's learn your patience right there on that log jumping. There's no pattern really to that. You're jumping log to log up a waterfall as the logs are coming down. Some are coming down fast, some are coming down slow. Use your patience there. Finally, make it to that gorilla boss. He's there to slap you around. I've seen it said as far as how to beat this boss, and maybe I was reading it from a different version. As far as, all the games, I guess they could be slightly different. But to avoid the coconuts he's throwing and to jump on him, but he's constantly going to slap you, and that slap takes a lot of damage. So what I like to do, I like to roll into those coconuts or boulders that he's throwing at you as he throws them, and then it knocks it back into him. If you can make it out of the way real quick, you'll still get slapped, but just not as much.
Hear the roar.
And before we get into our last couple of levels here, we mentioned those mini games. So depending on how many bugs you collect in each level, you'll just randomly end up on a mini game. And those are, I don't even know if I've made it any sort of free, guys. You got the Pumbaa one, where he's running around at the bottom collecting bugs. But as soon as you miss one, it's over. I think you have one burp you get to use that'll clear the whole screen. And I never make it to there. I can be doing great, but I think you need to get to 100 or something, or some other games will drop 1-ups randomly. It's hard to tell what the bonus levels are trying to do, because I feel like every time I get in one, it's for 3 seconds and I'm just back out anyway, and I didn't win anything. The Tamoon game, he's running around and collecting stuff. Again, you're avoiding spiders. He's moving up and down a tree collecting bugs, but then he'll just fall into a spider, instantly ends the game. I didn't win anything. But those are your mini games. You can see it feels, I don't know, they made the game in 7 months. I don't know the exact time span. It seems kind of rushed, but I think it was, again, this mixture of these Disney animators. The people at Disney, they specialize in storytelling. And then they're taking these people who specialize in making video games, telling them what to do. I think there was definitely some miscommunication. Let's move on to level 7. That's Simba's Destiny. Simba, now we're grown up. You got freaking Mel Gibson 80s hair for days. You're chasing Rafiki through tangled roots, difficult jumps, spider webs, and rocks, all trying to find your dad. Some of the strongest enemies in the jungle stalk the shadows of this moonlit maze. So now we're an adult. You can no longer roll. Enemies in this level are the leopards or the monkeys. The leopards, they attack like hyenas. The monkeys don't hurt you besides they throw stuff at you, but they won't hurt you if you run into them. And then there's the rolling boulders that'll kill you if you even look at them. After this level, take your Zoom call with Mufasa in the sky. Move on to the next level. But the thing about these guys, the leopards, this is like, now after Hakuna Matata, it's almost like you can breathe for a second as you make it through this level. There's lots of cheetahs that probably are supposed to be difficult because you kind of stand at a gate and spawn 6 or 7 of them. But you literally just stand there and spam your slash, and it'll just take them out. You just don't have to move at all. And then the monkeys are easy too. You just jump and smack them and they're dead. So a little bit, easier. Take that bad game development. Now it's working to our advantage because all those enemies are thankfully easy. Just spam the cheetahs out of here. We're moving on to, I don't know, the freaking hardest level of the game. Level 8, be prepared. We got the bats, hurtling rocks, spiderweb snares, and lurking hyenas hound Simba as he battles his way back to the Pride Lands. Caught in a maze of caverns, Simba must figure his way out without falling into the bottomless chasms. It's tough. You're in a cave. It's like you got those freaking bat enemies, and they will make your journey real rough. It's the lava level. We've got lava. We got bats to knock you into said lava. Also, you got lava dripping from the ceiling, and you got the stalactites that'll one-hit kill you if you even look at them funny. So it's got lava plumes coming up. They're not random at least. It's got lava dripping from the ceiling that you have to avoid. But the mixture of the bats, the hyenas, the cheetahs, the lava makes it a very tough level. It's the platforming on the lava with bats coming at you, knocking you off the lava. It's also got a weird kind of rock boss thing where you have to kind of close off the lava plumes to get shot out of, I guess, this up higher in the mountain. Another way to get some crazy instant deaths, but also quite doable when you know how. So definitely the hardest level. I want to say the hardest level for me. It's another one that you can kind of full send some parts. Because the health upgrade, if you know there's a health up, not an upgrade, but like a health bug, and it'll 100% your health back up, you can run past a lot of this stuff. Don't even worry about taking the damage, knowing that health bug is right around the corner. But we're going to make our way. We're getting towards the end now. We're going to go to the Hyena's Lair, level 9, Simba's Return, bringing Simba back to Pride Rock, and it's on now. You got to kill all these hyenas to move on. This is a bit maze-like. It's got you going indoors and coming out of doors, but it is a level where you have to kill all the hyenas to clear it. And but from here, it's starting to get pretty downhill, though. There's still plenty of health bugs in this level, I think. And you should be feeling good because you made it through Hakuna Matata, so you're here at least. But once you know the maze, this one isn't too tough. The next one, our last level here, it's going to have some rougher platforming. So we'll just move right into it. We're here. We're talking level 10, Pride Rock. Simba, he's on the hunt for that Uncle Scar.
You son of a bitch.
And, I mean, we've got it all now. We've got the ambiance. You got flames coming up on the bottom of the screen, lightning flashes and thunder, and some of the toughest platforming yet, but not the worst. I mean, there is a part where you're kind of platforming across the bottom. You'll fall and die there. But some of the platforming at least just has a rock underneath you, so you can just land and try again. It's got some rough instant death jumps, but master grabbing those ledges. I feel like it's a little tougher as adult Simba with the bigger sprite to grab those ledges, but make it up to the big bad himself. You're going to fight him halfway through the level, I think, and then head up finally to the top of the mountain there. The trick here is to just get a laser pointer and just point it off of the ledge and he'll fly and kill himself. Really though, you've worked hard. It is just, you get up to Scar and it is just a lot of slapping. Just a lot of slapping around for what feels like 20 minutes. But eventually, get him in the right spot, just like the movie. You're going to line him up. You're going to chuck him off that cliff. And then you're going to go take like a victory lap around your house, high-fiving your neighbors. Cops are going to get called, but you just beat the Lion King. Oh, what a game, huh? This game, it's over just as quick as it began. And by quick, I mean over 20 years. Even sadder for me, for when I was a kid, I didn't even know that there were codes and cheats in this game. But we definitely got some cheats.
It's a secret.
Shut up.
So we got one cheat that provides invincibility. This cheat in particular is known as the infamous berry cheat, because to do this cheat, you need to be at the title screen, select options, then on the controller press BARRY, and that'll take you to a screen where you can not only toggle invincibility, but also select what level you want to start at. And you know I appreciate that stuff in this game, in any games. They let us play in their sandbox. In this case, I want to play in Simba's litter box. So I want to see the whole game. But if you want to do that as well, talking legacy, talking about where this game's been recently, it's got a re-release. The old SNES, Genesis, and Game Boy versions were included with Aladdin as part of Disney Classic Games, Aladdin and the Lion King. That's available. That was back in 2019. So you can get it on the Switch, the PS4, the old Xbox One. The compilation later updated with another classic, The Jungle Book, which I hear is even worse than The Lion King. but I haven't played that one, I don't think, ever. And then they included, again, the SNES, Genesis, and Game Boy versions of both the Jungle Book. They added in the SNES version of Aladdin, but never included that Game Gear version. Where is the Game Gear version? I want to play that one. I want to play the best cut of this thing. So let's hashtag release the Game Gear cut. And with that, we managed to make it through this game, but we still got a lot to scoop out of this litter box. It catches a pretty bad rep, but you can't deny that people are still talking about this game. Let's see what some of those people are saying now, and we'll give my awards and final thoughts as the sun sets on this episode.
Aren't you a little old for video games?
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
Let's do all the things that you want to do.
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. Need the info.
I've lived in mortal terror that this would happen.
Get on with the ceremony.
Oh yeah, we're going to look at some comments. I'm going to take a drink of my Red Bull off mic like a pro. And let's get into some comments here. Reddit Browser 100 says Sega Genesis version is a bit easier due to having a better field of view because of smaller sprites. And that leads me back to that Sega Hippo jump that you could make in Hakuna Matata. I haven't played I have the Genesis version available I could go play, but I was sticking with the one I played with as a kid, which is the old Super Nintendo. Am I willing to swap out that Super Nintendo soundtrack to give the Genesis version a try? Not anytime soon, because I need me a break from The Lion King. 1958 Fury says, I thought the Stampede was pretty impressive at the time, not just for the Mode 7, but because it was so unusual to be controlling a character that's running toward the camera. And is Mode 7, is that the name of that technology? Is that like the FX chip type of stuff? Because that's kind of what it looks like, the sprite kind of zooming in and shrinking kind of things they can do with those sprites. I did mention that I appreciate like all the theme changes of the levels, and there's just a lot of misses. It's like this level is fun, even if I do fudge it a bit to kind of stand in my spot to make it through. The main character adds, I thought this game only has 2 levels. Is it canon that Simba gets killed by ostriches and hippos, correct? And yes, if this game is based on the movie as far as I could make it, then yeah, that's exactly what happened. Simba decides to go on a journey and gets killed by hippos, and the movie is like 3 minutes long, just like my gameplay. I don't know Jack either says, the first level was my favorite because I never made it to any of the others. And there's lots of comments like that out there for sure. Informal Resource 14 says, I used to rent this from Blockbuster, never got past the first level. I'm definitely with the it was infuriatingly hard camp, which maybe I just didn't have the patience. It was a gorgeous game though, looked and sounded and played great for the time. And we can all find the beauty in these games, tough or not. There was a team of people, like I've talked about, these developers, they put a lot of work into this, making these games, like putting in the hours, probably going home at night, thinking about it still when they're with their families. Like, they cared about their work. So still shout out to these developers, even when you got big executives coming in at the last minute, telling them they want to make more money, essentially. Keeping it going, Woogity here says, I had unlimited time with nothing else to do as a kid, and I could still not brute force my way through this game. One of the most frustrating games I've ever played, and I am with you. So it's why, even to this day, when I talk to people and they talk about how they beat it when they were a kid, I question it. But I want Game Boy camera video of that. Gable here says, it's a long one, but I like everything Gable's saying. Says, you are going to hate me, but I think this game belongs in the bottom of the barrel of the SNES library. I played all Disney games for the Super Nintendo recently, and this one was a negative surprise. I had good memories of playing it when I was a kid and humming the tunes. Blind nostalgia, I would say. This game didn't feel like it was designed to be hard, but like an unfair and broken mess with difficulty that seems to have been added in the last minute. I see a lot of people talking about how much Can't Wait to Be King is a difficult level with its pixel-perfect jumping sections, but I believe there is so much worse in the later parts. The falling rocks in Simba's Exile, the waterfall part in Hakuna Matata, and the lava puzzle in Be Prepared. I ranked this game above some things that I felt were truly terrible offerings from Disney, Beauty and the Beast, The Jungle Book, due to its beautiful graphics and interesting set pieces, but I feel like this would be a terrible game for children with an SNES due to its ridiculous difficulty spikes and broken platforming. There's a good game there, I believe, but it needed some extra development time. Some kind of password system would have done wonders too. And that's the end of your comment, and you summed everything. You summed up the entire episode right there. And it really could have came down to something as simple as a password system. I haven't played Jungle Book, haven't played Beauty and the Beast, but like you said with Can't Wait to Be King Level 2 being difficult, it is some of those later parts, that waterfall we talked about, the lava puzzle we talked about, and you mentioned everything that I've said in this episode about things being made harder at the last second. The game doesn't feel like it was designed to be hard. It feels like it's broken. And then on top of that, they added in things to make the brokenness brokener. But final comment, it's going to be a simpler comment for a simpler time. With Boy Sugi says, loved this game. Every level was the worst. Made me so mad. Cherished childhood memory. This game. So that seems simple, and it seems to sum it up for a lot of people out there. And what's a video game worth if it doesn't bring the emotions? Let's give our good kitty Simba some awards, maybe give him a treat. And we're going to start with award number 1. If we're talking The Lion King, we're going to have a Water Temple Award for the most frustrating level for me. Coming in at number 3, Be Prepared. All these, you can guess maybe this top 3 here. Be Prepared, bats, lava, and a floating rock. The enemies we can handle, but so many things are instant death in this game. The lava itself in Aladdin, that lava level, it sucked, but I feel like this one is harder and worse. And it's just, we've come too far to lose now. It's like you just keep your head cool. That you're so close to the end of the game by Be Prepared. That it really sucks when you just kind of lose it to a bat on a platform. Anyway, Hakuna Matata, you're next. Should be a fun, beautiful level with no worries, right? For the rest of your days. Well, we've got the log ride from hell, and you've got the monkey boss that'll just feed you your lunch over and over and over again. So get those health upgrades for the monkey, but if you screwed up the platforming, you didn't make it to them anyway. But it brings me to my most frustrating level. Maybe it's the one I've played the most. Maybe because it's riding the freaking ostriches. But it's going to Can't Wait to Be King. The hippos, the monkey, the ostrich. The giraffes are nothing. The monkeys are nothing. The hippos are annoying because I can't make the jump, but it's the ostrich running and the double jump. You've got to nail that. It's such a specific spot you wouldn't think to jump. That's why you have to untrain yourself. And I try to tell myself beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but it's hard to be holding my controller and not chuck it across the room when I'm playing that level. Award number 2, Little Samson Award. Let's get the positivity going again. Talking about the best looking sprite. Shout out to Timon and Pumbaa. Sometimes I'm sorry if I've switched their letters around. I'm dyslexic. I'm not good at words. If you manage to get to those bonus levels, you can play as those two, and they look great. So shout out to those runner-ups. Also, the hyenas, Rafiki's in there. The bugs are all nice and bright. Everything's coming up Disney with these sprites. They look good. Level 2 is going to get my award for the Little Samson. That whole level, the one I just crapped on in my last award, Can't Wait to Be King, and I can't wait to make it through that level. But it looks amazing. The giraffes, the monkeys, everything I complain about playing against, they look great. It just plays like crap. But it does look and feel just like the scene from the movie. But coming in at number 3 for the best looking sprite, I'm going to go with young Simba. I like young Link in Smash Brothers, and I like young Simba's sprite better than the old one. It's cute. He's got like the big cat paws. Maybe it's because I like JTT more than Matthew Broderick. Maybe that too. But I don't think anyone's going to argue that these Disney games didn't look great. So let's get to award number 3, a new one, Luigi's Hidden Diary Award. It's going to go for my favorite little detail in the game, starting out with the voices, because voice acting in a Nintendo game, and they clipped them right from the movie. It sounds just like them, all the way down to Simba's cool you hear every time he picks up a health item. You got Rafiki, you got Timon and Pumbaa, You got Scar, all adding a little spice to the game. They could have made it bigger, those bigger, longer cutscenes. Even with the voices, they could have pulled some more. Maybe not, because they spent all that money on marketing. Who knows? But next one, Hakuna Matata slides, the waterfalls. They look great, and it feels fun, and they just could have did more there. I enjoy those parts of the game. It's different. It's almost like a little puzzle. Just like the hippos and the monkeys. It should be fun. But at least we're not just like dying constantly on the slides like you are in level 2. We'll save that for the log platforming coming up. The winner of my favorite little detail, it's going to be Simba's little Sonic little idle animations. It really does feel like he's coming off the big screen right onto your little screen, thanks to those Disney animators working non-stop, probably under the whip of old man Walt himself. It's got cool idle animations. He's like catching bugs and those kind of things. So check that out. Let's get into ranking this game. See if it rules, if it's a rental, or if we retire Simba, send him off to go live in a Florida zoo with Carol Baskins, or do we just chuck this game right in the litter box? We'll do everything out of 100. Why not? Talking gameplay, visuals, music, sound, and awesomeness. For the gameplay, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 100. It's like the bones are here for a good game. The developers were free to do it all their way, and they just did it wrong. It's like, I like the concept, I like the roar mechanic, I like the different level themes, I like the stampede level, I like the sprite switch, going to the adult Simba. It's like, fix the hitboxes, add some bonuses, add some bosses, some more puzzle levels. This game's score isn't low because of what it is, it's low because of what it could have been. Visuals, let's get back up. 95 out of 100. We're all over the place with this review. Just throw it in the trash. What are we even doing here? Seriously, the game looks great. Part of the problem is everything looks so much like a cartoon movie, you can't tell what to jump on. The sprite emotion is great. Simba dying, you'll see that a lot. Simba's roar, the young roar's cute, just like in the movie. The hyenas have the dumb, goofy look on their face. Visually, you're very Disney, and you get your gold star there. Music and sound, we're going the same way, 90 out of 100. Strictly talking the SNES version here, half the levels are themed, named after the musical numbers from the movie, so you better deliver those songs we're looking for. Unfortunately, due to gameplay issues and my own incompetence, I just can't wait to be king. The song and now sends me into like a panic attack. My vision goes blurry. I start sweating. Level 2 definitely left some scars on me. The emotional ones, not the cat. Talking awesomeness, 20 out of 100. Like, yes, awesome, we got the game based on a movie we love, but the time of the NES bad games is over. Those games got some slack. Developers were just learning new things, learning how to make games. The fact that the developers made this hard on purpose, even though it wasn't their fault, to squeeze the pockets of parents, that is not awesome. Although your legacy is for the wrong reasons, Lion King still managed to climb that hill, become a part of gaming culture, just maybe not for the right reasons. But let's add that up, see if this game rules. That's like a 53 out of 100. That's not good. That's like an E in school, because I've never actually seen an F in school in real life. Is that just like a movie and thing? I know they're all numbers now. Kids are getting 1 through 4s. But were F's ever a thing? If you ever failed it when I was a kid, you got an E. Where was I? We're putting an asterisk on this game. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull the old Bart Simpson. We're gonna take that letter. We're gonna add a few lines here or there on the report card. Turn this baby into a grade worth sticking up on the fridge. I have to give this game a rental rating. I can't retire it. This game is itself, it's synonymous with rentals because of how stupid hard, unforgiving this game is. It's going to earn that rental status. You win, okay? Disney, you won. You wanted it to be a rental. You managed to make this a game that not only couldn't be finished in a weekend, but you got people trying for decades. So you made a lifelong rental meant to be played and analyzed for generations to come. But like Mufasa's Kingdom, I too will pass this game along to my children and then to their children, on, thus completing the circle of life. I'll just be a face in the clouds telling my kids to get health upgrades. But anyway, the kingdom is safe. Simba's off to a new adventure, some straight to VHS sequels, and we're off to our new adventure, another retro game to sink our claws into. So thanks again, you guys, for listening to this week's show. I appreciate the support. One more time, hit me up at thatgamerules@gmail.com. Throw me a like or follow out there. Let me know you're listening, and all my downloads aren't just coming from people's cats walking across their keyboards. I truly wish you all the best week. We could all use a little Hakuna Matata in our lives, so stay safe. Watch out for those stampedes. Never listen to your uncle, especially if he talks like Jeremy Irons. And I will see you guys on the next one.
I am never going to financially recover from this.